welcome back once again to Vicious Rants, and of course I'm your host, your YouTube messiah, and often imitator, never duplicator, Superstar Tim Vicious, and we're gonna go over Raw this week. It was in Nashville, Tennessee, and well, surprisingly, thank God, because you know, ever since the whole Elias is dead thing, now we no longer have a need for a music-themed no DQ match here in Nashville. So no Symphony of Destruction like shit going on tonight. But before we get into Raw, we're going to switch gears and talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind. And, oh, I'm not even going to attempt to go over the matches because, honestly, that was all just secondary. That was like filler. And, which, okay, given that it's WWE and we're talking about wrestling, yeah, I know, the jokes write themselves right there with that sentence, but the main thing, the big main thing last week on SmackDown was nothing more but the draft. Now, it got broke up into 4 rounds over the course of the night, which I gotta say, I did not expect them to do that. I expected 2 big ones, one at the beginning of the show and one at the end. You know, I wasn't expecting that, but either way, it was first round. Roman stayed on SmackDown. Big E's on Raw. Charlotte got moved to SmackDown, and Bianca Belair got moved to Raw, which we'll emphasize on that in a bit. Round 2, Riddle and Randy Orton are staying on Raw. The New Day, Kofi and Xavier Woods are on SmackDown, which, just as soon as we get a small little glimmer of hope that the New Day is going to be back together, and we're all thinking, the band is back, the band is back. We're all happy, we're all excited, we're all digging out the old New Day unicorn horns and all that jazz, only to find out that they're being broke up again. You know, I'm not used to having a wrestling promotion play with my emotions this much. Seriously. Fuck. Anyways, after that, Edge got moved to Raw. Round 3, Corbin, who is now partnered with Riddick Moss, which Moss has some kind of jokey name where he's supposed to be like a laughing guy. But yeah, they're on SmackDown. Nikki, A.S.H, and Rhea Ripley are on Raw. However, since they are still the women's tag champs, they can play back and forth on both shows until they lose said titles, which hopefully, fingers crossed, we eventually wind up getting Shotzi and Tegan Nox getting their tag title shots and winning them. Yep, I said what I said. Hit Row from NXT got put to SmackDown, which, way cool. I'm all for that, you know. And that's a real cool thing to see. And I know some people were extremely negative in the sense of, oh, they're going to get buried, they're going to get lost in the shuffle, this, that, and the... Listen, you show that you got enough talent, you ain't going to get lost in the shuffle. You're still going to get on there. Case in point, one of my absolute favorite guys, I have been preaching his greatness for, I don't even know how long now. Cesaro? Now, did he wind up having to go through the shits when he first got put on the main roster? Yeah, everyone did. But for fuck's sake, listen. While the man is main event world title caliber, he has not gotten it, but he is still relevant. He is still shown in matches. He is still put on TV. He still gets action figures and mentioned in video games and highlighted. So yeah, he's not lost in the shuffle. Same thing with Hit Row. They show they got the talent. They show that they can do the hard ass work. They're going to fucking shine. Not only that, new faces on TV. New faces on TV don't typically get lost in the shuffle right away. Last for round 3, Keith Lee got moved to Monday Night Raw, and real quick sidebar, a lot of people were up in arms wondering why the hell Keith Lee went with Keith Bearcat Lee now. And I'll be the first to admit, I was a little curious myself, like, wait, Bearcat, what? Why? And God bless the internet, because, went on Google, looked it up, took the name in honor of an old wrestler, Bearcat Wright. So, doing that to pay homage to to a legend and a pioneer, way cool. Again, who knew the internet was useful for things other than porn and letting a madman with a camera rant and ramble for a while? Finally, 4th round of the night was Naomi stayed on SmackDown, which Sonya Deville showed a little bit of disdain and like, well, not what I would have picked, but so cool. Maybe we'll wind up eventually getting a Sonya Deville coming out of retirement. Rey and Dominic are moving to Monday Night Raw. Jeff Hardy is moving back to SmackDown, which is cool because, honestly, I'm trying to think the right way to say this. Jeff's career really got made on SmackDown, is honestly the best way I can say it. Now, as far as, and the last pick for round 4 was Austin Theory going to Monday Night Raw, and I know a lot of people have said a lot of things about Austin Theory. I'm not going to go and try and say, oh, well, let's give him a chance, this, that, and the other. Trust me, I don't play around with the shit that he got thrown out there for, but yeah. I can't think of anything else to really say on that. Yeah. Ugh. Now, I'm not even going to attempt to lie. I tried to remember all the names for the draft for tonight on Raw. I couldn't. The big highlights that I can think of, Xia Li and Shayna Baszler are going to SmackDown. SmackDown basically just straight up went violent. That's what it is. They're getting Xia Li, they're getting Shayna Baszler. Raw is getting, SmackDown's also getting the Raiders, and as well as, that's about the best I can think of off the top of my head right now, and unfortunately my one producer, Wade, refuses to hold up the cue cards behind the camera to show me him. A real mature Wade. Yeah. Fuck you too. Anyways, now with that said, let's get into this week's show. Raw, it starts out with Becky Lynch coming out, cutting a promo saying, very first and foremost, she is the #1 draft pick, and she is going to Monday Night Raw. Now, when she says she's the #1 draft pick, she's talking about for this night, for night 2 of the draft. Also, do want to emphasize, the draft does not take into effect until after Crown Jewel. So, Becky cuts that promo, and then out comes Charlotte talking about and then them two start going back and forth. Hey, Bex, how you been? Oh, I'm doing good, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. And then Charlotte, Becky talking about on how she's better than Charlotte, she could beat her, she wants her title that she never really lost to begin with. Which, she left with a built-in story, And then out came Bianca Belair because Becky interfered in a match Bianca had on Friday night. And then Bianca started interjecting, saying on how she's going to beat Becky at Crown Jewel to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion because the title's going to be defended in a triple threat match between Bianca, Sasha, and Becky, which, okay, we've all said what we've said about Crown Jewel, doing the show in Saudi Arabia. Good, bad, and indifferent. Let's just take a moment to think, though. Considering where it started to where it's at now, the fact that we're getting women's matches, and not just women's matches, but women's title matches. You know, it's a step in progress. Is it as big of a step as we'd like? Probably not, but, you know, it's better than where it was. I'll say that much. I mean, hell, I thought it was I was all ecstatic at the fact that they had Renee Young doing commentary the one year. But, yeah, I'm getting sidetracked. Bianca comes out, talks about on how she's going to wind up winning. Becky winds up interjecting. Reminded me of this one girl I knew back in high school. She always had a way of sneaking it, getting in on shit and stirring the pot up some. And wound up getting in. You know, you say you're good, but have you really tried to... You know, you say you're good, Bianca. And of course, well, I've beaten you in. Well, I've beaten Charlotte enough times where I don't have to go against her anymore. I got nothing left to prove. But have you ever really tried to beat her? And then just kind of like placing that little earworm in and it's just like, oh, she doing that. She doing that chicken shit heel shit now. Oh, which, you know, and I know a lot of people have been getting critical about her, about, you know, the way she's talking, the way she's carrying herself. They don't like it. Dude, I'm for it because, you know, it's another layer to her character. Because before she left, before she got pregnant and she was running as the man, ass-kicking character, take no prisoners, you know, fight gods, demons, and mortals, everyone in between. This time, she's kind of like doing like a little bit of a chicken shit heel mixed with a little bit of an ass kicker heel persona, which, dude, I'm interested. It's different. And I'm a huge proponent for different. I love different. I like seeing different in wrestling, whether it's good or bad, because it's something out of the ordinary. Now, am I saying you need to do different crash TV shit all the time? God, no. But it never hurts to have something different every now and then. Change things up. This is it. So yeah, then eventually Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville come out. They make the match official for later in the night. Bianca Belair going against Charlotte in a non-title match, one-on-one, as well as they announce that Nikki and Rhea are going to be defending their women's tag titles against Natayla and Tamina later in the night. But before we get to that, let's get into the first match of the night, finally. Jeff Hardy going against Damian Priest for the U.S. title. And Priest led early on, honestly, Priest kind of like was leading the whole pace for the entire match. I mean, Jeff got his shots in and he wound up, you know, he was doing good, but honestly, felt more like Priest was leading during the entire time. The match came to an end, though. You know, maybe it's better we got it out the way now before we got too far into the night. But we got to win. But Priest got the win from a fucking roll-up when Jeff wound up hitting the Twist of Fate, did the Swanton, hit Priest, took a few seconds pause because they said it was a shoddy kind of landing, didn't land the normal way, crawled over, 1, 2, Priest kicked out and then rolled over and did a literal roll-up on, and then did a roll-up on him, 1, 2, 3, just fucking roll-ups. Fucking hate roll-ups. Death to roll-ups. Fucking hate them. Fuck! Anyways, after that, Jeff got interviewed in the ring asking on how he felt. He said, well, you know, I only got about another 2 weeks before I go to SmackDown. And when I go there, I may bring a whole different emotional set with me. Hinting at possibly going to be Willow, which... Okay, given the shit that I saw, given the Willow shit that we saw in TNA, I'm not sure whether or not I'm excited, scared, or wondering, is Vince McMahon going to try and capitalize on selling Willow umbrellas like Dixie Carter tried to do? Anyways, next matchup, it was, well, if you can even call it a match, it was Shayna Baszler versus Dana Brooke. You can guess on how that went. It was completely one-sided by Shayna. She got the win doing the Carrillo clutch chokeout, and then went to go completely murder Dana and smash her arm in like she did with Eva and Nia. And then just as she was about to, Dewdrop's music hit, and then she came prancing and dancing down, which my first thought was, if you're going to try and save somebody, why would you just la 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 dance your way down? Why not just actually bolt down to try and stop it? Because God forbid the bad guy may not just may look at you and say, oh fuck, they're coming. Let me finish this quick. Crunch. Ay. Anyways, Dewdrop came down, got in between Shayna and Dana, went to go help Dana up. Shayna then forearm right to Dew's back, and she just looked like, tell me you did not just fucking do that. You did not just fucking do that, did you? And Shayna's just looking like, oh, okay. This bitch gonna go down hard. I can do that. Next up, we got tag action. Ali and Mansoor going against Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, which really bad. I need to invest into like some fucking that shit that helps your memory. That, what's it called? Like fucking Prefrigen or something. Need to invest into that shit to help remember more. Garza and Carrillo wound up getting drafted to SmackDown. And, well, this was very much so quick, fast-paced match, back and forth, all around until the end. The end came when Garza wound up throwing Ali into the ring post. And the one thing that I saw that caught my eye was that Humberto was holding down Mansoor in front of the hard cam, which I know it seems insignificant, but as best as I can recall, I don't remember seeing that go on too much. You know, always see the person hold the tag partner off to the sides or behind the hard cam. You know. Anyways, next matchup we got it's an impromptu one. Big E's coming out. He hypes up the New Day going again. The New Day and Undertaker Netflix thing, and then talks about on how he's just as confused as the rest of us that the New Day got back together only to be broken up again, and then talks about on how he beat Lashley, and then just as he got done, he didn't even have time to go and revel in those joys. He received his next challenger, who is one Drew McIntyre. Drew came out and said, you know, Big E, you won. Everyone congratulated you. Everyone messaged you on Twitter and all, but not me. No, and I know what you're thinking. Why didn't Drew do that? Well, it's simple. Because I'm old-fashioned. I wanted to do it man to man. So congratulations. And I've been waiting for somebody to beat Bobby Lashley so I can get my rightful shot. And now I'm here to challenge you for the WWE Championship. Side note, again, that fucking, what is it, the Prefrigen shit, another top spot I needed for. McIntyre also got drafted to SmackDown. So yeah. Big E looks at him like, uh-huh. And then out comes Ziggler and Roode. Ziggler hypes up on how, you know, hey, Big E, good job, man, congrats. You earned it. All I'm saying is, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. Let's roll that beautiful beam footage. And then they show when he debuted about 8 years ago with Ziggler. Jesus, it's been 8 years already since Big E's been on the main roster. Let's just think about that. Because because prior to that, he still was in NXT, and prior to NXT, he was in FCW, the Florida Championship Wrestling. Just so, whew. Yeah, the man's been in WWE for a while. Kudos to E. Either way. Then he showed on how McIntyre and Drew were working together, on how they were tag champs for a while. And then somehow they wound up making the reference of Bobby Roode wound up saying they call him Big Bob. And then they said, looked at him like, Big Bob? Nobody calls you Big Bob. And yeah. And then Big E said, how about this? You have a match with me, Big E, and then McIntyre. God bless McIntyre, because I will say this. The one thing that we got out of him since he got fired, he learned on how to run his mouth. And he runs his fucking mouth. So, and he jumped in the very second Big E finished saying, Big E and Big D. So all I could think is, wait, Big E, D, Team E, D? Okay, that is definitely... Unfortunately, Team ED could never be sponsored by Viagra or Cialis. Shame, really. Either way, though, impromptu match, Big E and Drew McIntyre going against Bobby Roode and Ziggler. Faces they were leading at the start until eventually Drew wound up getting a tag in. Moved around like it was a hot tag, cleaned up house, and then what became a punching bag for a bit until E got the hot tag. And then E went old school, pulled the straps down, started getting serious. And then just as it looked like he was about to finish it, he had Ziggler up for a big ending. McIntyre tags himself in, goes 3, 2, 1, boom, Claymore to Ziggler, gets the 1, 2, 3, you're a winner. And then, just as Bobby Roode comes in, Big E scoops him up, hits him with a big ending. Afterwards, Big E says to McIntyre, you want a title match? Crown Jewel, you got it. So yeah. Next matchup, we got the women's tag action, Nikki A.S.H and Rhea Ripley going against Natayla and Tamina. Nikki was the punching bag for a good bit. Well, it started out with Nikki and Natayla. Them two locked horns, they were doing pretty good for a bit. And then Nikki became the punching bag once Tamina came in. And yeah. The match came to an end when Rhea wound up getting in there. They started going, fighting, tussling pretty good. And then Rhea wound up doing a riptide and then hoisted Nikki up over her, like had her up like this, and then just boom, dropped her down on top of Tamina. 1, 2, 3, that was it. So yeah. Next up we got New Day, Kofi, and Xavier Woods going against Cedric and Shelton Benjamin. Should note on here before that, prior to this match, Shelton and Cedric were involved in a spot with Goldberg right before the match where Goldberg issued a challenge to Lashley. Lashley accepted, saying them two will square off at Crown Jewel in a no-holds-barred match. So, yeah, then they came out, tried to do a sneak attack on Goldberg. Goldberg wound up plowing through both guys. Yeah. So we got the Hurt Business back just to have them get their ass kicked by Goldberg. I don't drink, but God almighty, if I did, I'd really need to pour some serious bourbon to figure out the mechanics on what the fuck is going on with that shit. Ugh. So yeah, New Day versus Cedric and Shelton. Woods, honestly, it was a real quick match. Very honest to goodness, Raw was pretty much almost went the same way as SmackDown did, where the matches were more so just secondary, and a lot of the focus was on the draft. Now, New Day, they wound up winning the match. Woods and Kofi were pretty much dominating, which was to be expected considering Cedric and Shelton got their ass kicked right before it. And then Woods got the win by doing that tightrope elbow drop of his that he does, which is way fucking cool to see, you know. And I'll say this, anytime I see anyone going tiptoe across the ropes, I don't care if it's Xavier Woods, Lance Dorado, Undertaker, whoever. You know, if you got enough balance to be able to go and tightrope across that, even if it's like 3 or 4 steps, dude, that's pretty fucking cool. So now we come to main event of the night. Bianca Belair versus Charlotte. Becky Lynch was on commentary. And a lot of people were saying, oh, well, you know, I've had enough of Becky on commentary. Just no. Very annoying. Honestly, I felt like she was supposed to come off annoying. So I kind of got that. You know, it's like that, you know, like when you're watching a show and you see that one character on the show that you're like, God, I can't stand that person. You're not meant to be able to like, you're not meant to like that person. Yeah. So, as far as Bianca versus Charlotte goes, man, this was a solid fucking match. I fucking loved it. There were a lot of good solid back and forth throughout it. Charlotte wound up leading into the commercial break. And then it was just back and forth throughout the rest of the match. And it was just, these girls wound up working their asses off and were doing a damn good match. I fucking loved it. I thought it was a great match. And this was a hell of a way to, want to make sure I word this right. This is a good way to solidify Bianca as a top tier performer. You know, to make her a made woman, so to say, you know. Because, let's face facts, Charlotte, probably the, you know, say what you want about Charlotte, and whether it's true or not, can be argued another time. But she's been nothing but solid, and since she's went through the ropes. I mean, Christ, look at her lineage. That explains it. But, you know, you're going from main eventing Mania to main eventing Raw with one of the top tier, with one of our higher up women talent. Fucking hey, what's that say? You're being pushed on the main spot right away. You're being made. So yeah, it's fucking good, way cool. Match came to an end. Unfortunately, the match came to an end in a shitty way, in a DQ, where just as Bianca had Charlotte up for the KOD, she hit it, went for the pin. 1, 2, Becky Lynch got out of commentary, pulled Bianca out, and then threw her into the stairs and then into the barricade, started going at her, and then Sasha Banks came out of nowhere, started beating up Bianca, and then started beating up Becky, and then Sasha Banks, lo and behold, stood tall above both. Yeah. So, yeah, that is it. So, that's it for this week's show, folks. Make sure y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes. Leave any interesting thoughts, complaints, questions, grunts, groans, whatever the fuck you want down below in the comments. I'm always open to criticism, good, bad, and everything in between. Look for me on the Twitter at TimVicious. Also look for my Facebook. Well, no, let's not do the Facebook thing because it got shut down earlier today. So, either way, look for me on the Twitter at TimVicious. And make sure y'all follow these cool ass cats right here on the Twitter. Kenny Killer, DSB_IV, Diabolica RA, Sergeant Curry Pants and Dubs in your face. And folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck yous.